Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
Can you explain why Christians in these and many other parts of the world are facing such opposition because of their faith in Jesus? Why is this happening?
But David, one of the things that believers in persecution have taught us is that in the Bible, persecution is normal. In the Bible. Now, that doesn't give us any wiggle room whatsoever when you say in the Bible. And Stephen emphasized this before they stoned him. He said, starting with Moses and all the prophets, he told those who were in opposition to him because he was a godly man. There's another whole episode with you. In our world, you are as likely to be arrested for being good as you are for being bad.
Wow.
See, that is so against Western Christian culture, we don't know what to do with it. And Stephen is like John the Baptist, under persecution for being a godly person. And he said, from the Moses to today, you have persecuted everybody that God has sent you. You killed his own son. He was raised. He called judgment upon them. And then, even as the stones were hitting his body, he said, Father, don't hold this on their account. Where did he learn such love? He learned it from Jesus. And so it's normal and the number one cause of persecution on the planet. And this drives some organizations crazy when we say this. The number one cause of persecution globally is people coming to Jesus. Where there's a large harvest, there's a large persecution. Where there's a small harvest, there's little persecution. And in the Western Christian world, if 93% of the people we baptize were born in the church, there is nothing there that Satan needs to persecute. We're already locked away and we're no threat to him in the marketplace. So the question we must ask, not why those people are persecuted, why are we not?
That is an exceptional question right there. That's a better way to ask it than I asked it.
And so when we say that the number one cause of persecution is people coming to Christ, they say, oh, you're excusing the persecutors. No, Jesus said to Judas, it'd be better that you never be born. But what we're trying to say is you can't put persecution in just a bad box. For instance, we ask all over the world, how do you know today when to leave Joseph in Pharaoh's prison? What do we do when our Joseph gets arrested? We send 30,000, 50,000 emails and video clips to parliaments and presidents and prime ministers. And what if we're successful? What if our Iranian pastor friend is in that hellhole of a prison in Iran and we successfully get him out of prison? Dare we not stop and pray, God, if you have him in prison for the salvation of his jailers, blessed be the name of the Lord. If we pray and advocate in such a way that we get Joseph out of Pharaoh's prison and we bring him to the West especially, what happens 2 months later when Pharaoh has his dream? Nobody there to interpret?
Yes.
Egyptians die. Jews in Egypt dies. Sometimes Jesus says it clearly in Matthew 10, I am sending you to jail. And there they're going to abuse you. You don't have access. I'm going to give you access by being arrested. You go. I'm sending you as a witness to them. Well, that turns persecution upside down.
Absolutely. And with those thoughts, I want to follow up with your words, continuation of, I think, your thought here from the Insanity of God. You said the reason for persecution then is that people keep finding Jesus and then they refuse to keep him to themselves. I want to encourage you, if you're watching right now, take this to heart. If it is not natural for you to share your faith, if it is not natural, just a natural inclination to say, God changed me and transformed my life, and therefore I must tell others, must tell my family, must tell my neighbors, you might have to question what did you really experience from life? Have you really submitted yourselves wholeheartedly into the hand of God? Is He really have first place in your life? I would encourage you that it is the natural position of the born-again Christian who has experienced the goodness of God to then share that message.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.